You know, a knife is everything to me, and a knife needs to be really sharp. Okay, you're confused if you think that, oh, well, I don't want to sharpen it because I want to cut myself. Because it's not sharp when you're trying to cut on a vegetable or something, when you do that, it slips and then you get jacked up. So sharp knives are everything. So make sure if you don't have a sharp knife, get a sharp knife and get a sharpener and maintain it. It's super important when you're preparing, because if you start to cook a lot of veggies and things, you'll be just chopping all the time, you know, and that's really important. And then the mandolins, you can get at Bed Bath & Beyond, Linens and things, with those 8,000 trees they cut down and mail to you in the blue coupon, you know, crazy. So, whole other sidebar. And then I love steamers. Steamers are great because it's another wonderful way to really cook some of the things you love, where maybe you were used to frying them in a pan. You'd be amazed at when you try it out steaming. And this is where, after I've steamed something, I will add a little olive oil and some salt and pepper on it, just, you know, for a little bump, but not too much. I'll be careful. You can add spray for that. And then grills, you know, like I love grilling outside. Some people don't have that luxury. Maybe you're in an apartment where it just doesn't make sense. Those George Foreman grills, I'm told people really love them. I've never used one. I think you did for a little while, but I like the open flame because I'm a man and I like to burn things, you know. And then a crock pot. Oh my gosh, like seriously, we had a crock pot for about 13 years till I used it. 13. It sat there. It was so dusty and caked with, like, it was crazy. And I'm like, maybe I should try this crock pot thing. Oh my gosh, it is so simple. And what I look for, you know, I look for meats that are on sale and things, and I crock pot everything. And I mean, I make so many things that are so delicious and so amazing and so simple, and I love it because I'll leave it out for a whole nother day just on warm, and like, I don't worry about it. It's not going to go bad. It's in the safety zone temperature-wise. You know, and man, crock pots are unbelievable. And you can make things that would be inexpensive cuts that wouldn't make a great steak. You can make an amazing dish from them, and then have fun with the ingredients. Like, for example, you know, you'll see some on my Facebook page, but like the other day I did blackberries and blood oranges. And oh my gosh, it was unbelievable, you know? So the key, I love food. The key to crock potting too when you're doing meats is caramelize them first. So what I'll do is I'll take a piece of meat, I won't just plop it in there, you know, and because like some people will come here and they'll try my crock pot things and be like, man, it tastes so much better than mine. I'm like, well, the main difference really, it's simple things that you just don't know. So like cut the meat into some reasonable sized pieces and brown them with whatever seasoning, salt, pepper. I use the granulated garlic and I brown them first, and then I put them in the pot, and then I add in my vegetables that I saute in the same pan that I was using, and I add those in on top, so I brown them a little bit too, and typically carrots, celery, and onions, but I just brown whatever vegetables I have. I look in my drawer and I'm like, what do I have? The other day I had kale, boom, in goes the kale, you know? I have those things that are going bad, you don't know what to do with, boom, they just go in. And that way stuff doesn't get wasted, because I hate wasting things, you know? It really pisses me off because I'm so excited to buy all these groceries and produce, and then like how many times forever did I used to get to the end of the week and like, all right, there's that drawer, just may as well, you know, dump it in the trash, like, because I went out to eat 7 times instead of eating at home. But brown your vegetables, brown your meats, and then the other thing I do is I use chicken stock. You know, I buy it when it's on sale. I buy ridiculous amounts of it, and I use it to fill my crock pot, and man, it adds so much more flavor, so much more. And I use things like mustard or other, just have fun. Like, look at what you have. You can make it Asian by adding soy and, you know, some red chilies, and, you know, have fun. Don't just do the same old, same old. No, with the crock pot you need a protein source, some vegetables, salt and pepper, and then just have fun. Look at what you have. I always just look at what I have in the cupboard. I'm like, okay, I made one with green chili the other day because I had some green chilies I bought because I had some idea that I was going to do it. I don't even know what it was, you know? And I had a bunch of salsa because somehow there's like 3 different salsas of the same one open. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make it Mexican, you know? And you know what? Tasted delicious. And then Tupperware. I have a Tupperware problem. If I get different Tupperware with different size lids, and then it's like socks where you can't find the ones that match. I buy all the exact same socks. I have like seriously 20, 30 pair of the same socks because I got really upset about the whole missing the sock thing. So Tupperware, I buy the same ones. But whatever kind, you know, you like, Tupperware is golden because being able to have that simply to be able to put your food into, and then Stephanie has one of these. I don't yet, but I'm gonna get one day. They're amazing. Seriously, those are crazy, right? Unbelievable. But they can fit your Tupperware, so you can take it with you. They fit cold packs. But even if not that, just making them and taking them to work. You know, I make mine. I bring them here in the morning, and then I put them in the fridge. I mean, right now you'll find in there a little arugula because my greens were going bad, so I put it underneath. Added chicken stock over that so they wouldn't oxidize or go anymore. Added my chicken that I made, chicken biryani on top, and boom, meal prep done. And I didn't waste my arugula, you know, which is always a good feeling. You know, and then again, shopping smart. Just really watch for the deals. You know, the first thing I do when I go to the store, so those of you who, if you can't make it to Saturday, no problem. The first thing I do is I go to the protein section. Number one, I go to the protein, I find out what's on sale. That's it, that's all I buy. I do not ever buy anything that's not on sale, you know, and I look for the clearance meat items, and when they're getting a little bit brown, not a lot brown, but a little bit brown, it's actually where, if you went to a nice steakhouse like Del Frisco's and you would look at their meats, they would all be brown. Because it's where the best thing is. We all think of this bright red, that's not aged. You know, there's a happy medium. If you open it up and your meat smells sweet, not so good. But there's that happy medium. So I buy those ones that are on manager clearance every time. And then you know what, if I'm not gonna have steak that night because I already prepped a bunch of food, I just throw them right in the freezer. And then last night we had filet, and what did I have? Filet and something. Oh, I made souffles. So, but you know, it's buy what's on sale. You know, when chicken's on sale, boy, buy a lot of it. You know, and I just throw it in the freezer. Because you know what, I'm gonna cook it anyway. Is it a little better when it's totally fresh? Yes. Do I love that more? Sure. But I make sure I set myself up for success. So the days I go, if I don't have what I'm looking for, no problem. You know, and then from there, I move my way from protein to seasonal vegetables, and I look for just what's looking good and what's on sale. It doesn't matter, you know, every vegetable goes with the proteins. Like, there's not like a rule of like, oh, you must have tomatoes, or, you know, like, I start to create from there. I just look at what's available, and I think, well, zucchini is on sale, great. You know, I've got zucchini and chicken, that's a good start. You know, now I can put pretty much anything with it, and it works, you know, but I look at those foundations, and then also I try to push myself. Every once in a while I just buy something I've never had. Like I bought this chayote squash, which I had never had. It's so good. So good. Like I sliced them up and I cooked them a little mirin and rice vinegar and a touch of sugar and like made the sweet and sour discs, and oh, it's crazy. But you know, I just had fun. I'd never done anything like that. I never cooked it, and it could have sucked, you know, but that would have been okay. It cost me $1. You know, and I had fun trying something. I bought, what's that fruit that looks like a tomato? The persimmon. I brought persimmon and I cut it on the mandolin real thin and made persimmon carpaccio, and I seared tuna and put it over the top. Awesome. You know, because I just tried something different. Like, I didn't know, I knew you baked persimmon, but I didn't know if you could eat it whole or not. And I was like, I'll try it.
What's carpaccio?
Carpaccio is a thinly sliced anything.
Oh.
So often it denotes a thinly sliced meat, where they slice it on a slicer, super paper thin, and they lay it out on a plate. So it could be done like that, or carpaccio could be made of tuna, it could be made of anything, but very thinly sliced, anything that's typically not cooked.
Oh.
Cool. All right, and then, oh, wow, what to get? So these are the other things I look in the frozen section. You know, shrimp, tilapia, frozen tuna. We were talking about the sushi grade tuna, Tiffany and I, the other day. I mean, I think it's such a great resource. They have these Soku block tunas that are sashimi grade. They're lightly smoked on the boat. That's why they're much more pink and bright. And they're so easy to have around, and just thaw them in some water in your sink and boom, rock it out. Like, you can have those things available so you never mess it up. You come home, you're like, oh, I don't know what to have. Oh, well, I have frozen edamame in the freezer. I got some other frozen vegetables, whatever I have, it doesn't really matter. I got my tuna, done deal. You know, I have something. A little soy, a little wasabi, life's good. Like, there was nothing crazy about that. It's just, I buy soy when it's on sale. I have it lying around. I buy edamame when it's on sale. The shelled one, I'll have it lying around. So, makes it real easy. In the meat department, you know, chicken, ground turkey, chicken sausage. I really like chicken sausages when I know where it's being made and I know it's gluten-free. For me, I think there's some really good things there to give me a lot of flavor. It's typically thigh meat, so no, it's a little higher in calorie, a little higher in fat. So don't be going as, you know, super silly, but like I'll buy chicken chorizo and just some good things, like just shift your view from just the beef, you know, aisle. And then when I go beef, I go really lean. And if I'm doing pork, typically it's only pork tenderloin if it's me, but you know, everyone has a different idea on that. And then fresh seafood wise, salmon, tuna when it's on sale, halibut when it's in season. You know, I look for seasonal fish and things. Just ask the fish person. And the other thing that's really important, if it smells like fish, it's probably not very good. Because good fish doesn't smell. Like you have sushi, it doesn't smell fishy. You know, it's clean, it's simple. So another good little pointer. Okay, produce department, we already talked about that. We already talked about what to avoid. You know, tons of greens. And then the red spectrum, just look for different colors. You know, the more you get of these different beautiful colors, a lot of the reds, purples, fruit-wise too, you're looking at more antioxidants, more things. So, you know, consider that when you're doing it. When certain fruits are in season, I do incorporate them a lot into my lunch salads because that's where I'd like to get my carbs from. I think it's the best way, you know, to get carbs with a bunch of fruit. Obviously, we do some whole grain stuff and other things, but, you know, that's really a great way. And then create a new idea. Like you want to do tacos, make it a lettuce wrap. You know, lettuce wraps can be anything. Like stuff you would normally have in another medium, a sandwich or anything, just start to think about it with lettuce. And oh my gosh, like it'll be delicious and you'll feel so good. It's like you won't have that like crash. Yes, Patty.
What do you use if you can't use iceberg lettuce then?
Oh, I don't use that. I use the butter lettuce typically. Or, you know, even some of these more tender kales are very solid, so they'll really hold up. But there's some really nice tender like dinosaur and Tuscan kale and other kales that are really tender kale. Like you tried my kale today, right, Stephanie?
Yes.
Super tender, right?
Yeah.
Super tender. And I didn't even cook it, you know. So, and then again, you know, I always look for good fats, and I just love avocado. It's such an easy way. When I want something creamy and rich, just making my own simple little guacamole. Doesn't have to be fancy, you know, just awesome way to do it on eggs, on different things. It's just a great way to get good fats, okay? And then again, when I'm looking at prepping, okay, the other thing, I think a lot of people think that meal prep is like, okay, I had dinner, I eat dinner, and then I go make a bunch of meal prep. Not a good idea. It's too much work. Just make it all at once. And the thing is, since I don't eat carbs at dinner, a lot of times when I'm doing meal prep, I may be making a carb, but it's for my meal prep only. I may be making quinoa on the back, you know, but I'm not going to be having it with dinner. I'm going to be having it later, you know, me and my meal prep, and I'll put those in my meal containers. And so I make a lot of everything because I may make a little mess in the kitchen periodically. I just cook all over the place, but at least I make one big mess, and it's like 3 days, and then no big deal, you know. These are some ideas. So, for example, you know, we talked about butternut squash. It's a really simple, easy thing, and this dish looks all fancy. I was like, oh man, mine doesn't look like that. Well, you know what I did? It's really cool. I took some sauce, put it on a plate, and I just like this, made it into a disc. That was it. I put some spaghetti squash on there, and I put on the chicken. I cut it, which was really special. I mean, it was fancy. And then the only thing I did different is I was like, I want some green, so I had spinach, and I just rolled up the leaves and cut them into a ribbon called chiffonade, and just made sound effects, of course. And that's what makes it different. And for me, I get excited. When I look at the plate, I get excited. You know, because it's healthy, it's clean. It's a beautiful dish. And then you know what I did is I put that spaghetti squash, because man, spaghetti squash makes a ton of spaghetti squash. Oh my gosh. Like one spaghetti squash, I thought I needed like the biggest spaghetti squash. And also apparently, when it says poke holes, they really mean it. And you should poke holes like really far, because I like poke some little holes. And apparently if you don't poke far enough, it explodes in the microwave and the door shoots open. And not that it happened to me, but it was really scary. And then the other thing, so I get this here, and I have it all there. And the other thing I add some chicken stock into every single one of my dishes because they're going to dry out when you microwave them. When you heat them later, they dry out. So I take my chicken stock, because it's always in my fridge, or always, you know, unopened on my thing, and I pour it in there, and then I have a beautiful amount of moisture. So just later, when it heats, it steams, and it adds that moisture, and it's not dried out. Okay? Chicken stock is like your favorite new ingredient. Okay? I hope you're not allergic to chicken. And then the only other thing you'll notice, I have broccoli in here, and this is why we have this here. I just take frozen vegetables, whatever's on sale, and when I'm making meal prep, I may do fresh vegetables for right now for what we're eating, but you know what I'll do is I'll take frozen vegetables, just dump them into each Tupperware container, and that's it. Like, wow, it's crazy. You know, people are like, it's so hard, you know, it doesn't take me any time. The only hard thing was cleaning up the spaghetti squash. And it's whatever's on sale. Like, I love finding new things. Like, I really love butternut squash. I used this to make souffles last night. That was kind of fun. You know, whatever it is that you like, just have fun with it. You know, don't feel limited. You know, to what you're doing there. So And then this is what it looked like. This is the ingredients. Okay, spaghetti squash, chicken, broccoli, marinara. That's it, salt and pepper. Salt and pepper. Like, it's that crazy, okay? So don't overthink it. Don't complicate things. Don't make it a lot of work, you know? You can do that if you want, but for me, not so much, okay? Here's another one of my favorites. Okay, here's some lettuce wraps. So, simple ingredients. Salmon was on sale, so I used salmon. I would have used anything. I like to use shrimp for this. I like to use a lot of things. But salmon was on sale. And then I love this edamame salad. It's a beautiful thing that Sam's Club sells. It's like organic, non-GMO, blah, blah, blah. It's awesome. But be careful though, it's 7 servings in that container, so, you know, I like to use just a little. But man, it's great because I have it there. I have some avocado, and there was like mango on sale, so I did a little mango and green onion like mojo, a little salsa. I just bought what was on sale. You know, I didn't really plan it out. I was just like, well, And when I saw salmon was there, what could I do with salmon? I was like, I'll make a lettuce wrap. You know, and I started to create, because originally I was thinking fish tacos, and I was like, okay, dinner time, not going to do the tortilla, you know, and that's what happened. Oh, this is my favorite. I love truffles, and although we don't get them in the States very often, you know, white truffle oil is a pretty cool little ingredient, and like, you know, it's not inexpensive, but boy, unbelievable with eggs. So I just poached some eggs, I put some black sea salt on there, and then I cut the vegetables, which I'm going to show you right now with this. But I cut some vegetables up and I made noodles. And then what happened is I cooked them in chicken stock. You can see the chicken stock there. And when I cut the egg, the yolk made the rich sauce. Like, oh, lovely, so good. And a little truffle oil on top, and it was like magical. It was so good. It was magical. So these little things, simple things, because this is just what I had in my house. You know, I got home after the grocery store was closed because I go to Sprouts almost exclusively. We buy a little at Sam's Club, a little at King Soopers, but Sprouts mainly because whole paycheck's not in my budget. You know, I just used what we had because I was like, what do I have? I opened the fridge. I'm like, okay, asparagus is going bad. Probably should use that, and just made it. You know, like, just make something. Don't stress over it. And you know what? If you use the right amount of salt and pepper, a little chicken stock, some sauces you buy on sale, it's going to really taste great. And once in a while, it's going to taste terrible. Just don't do that one again. Okay? So I want to show you real quickly how to use a mandolin, and then I'll show you a couple other quick recipe ideas. But who'd like to come up here and use a mandolin that's never done it? All right, Junior, come on up. Tiffany, do you want to too? Okay, come on up. No, okay. So this is the mandolin. Now it comes with a couple adjustments, but pretty much I leave it unscrewed all the way for the thickness. And like if you want, you can cut like little discs of things. Okay.
Please be careful, Junior. Did you sign a waiver?
So just hold this with your left hand. Are you right-handed? Okay, hold it with your left hand now. Push down, yep, and just start pushing. Go all the way through. Keep going. And you can go really fast.
Watch that finger, though.
Okay, that's good. All right. So look, boom. Oh my gosh, it's so fancy.
Yay.
Like, and they're perfectly even cut. This is awesome. So, but Junior's thinking, man, I want some. You want some noodles, don't you, Junior? You like noodles? I do too. Okay. So my favorite blade. I don't know. I call it the noodle blade. I'm sure it's called the blade. Okay. So it's cool. You put it in here, and you just tighten it down. And this thing you got to replace every. Well, for me, like maybe every year or so, maybe a little longer, because the blade's going to go dull and you can't sharpen it. But now we're going to turn it on its side, and this is where you do want to watch your fingers, because oh, here's the guard. Some of you need to use the guard. Okay, the guard goes on the vegetable, but you just start to push on here and just start making some noodles. It's literally this simple. And so, again, with the noodles, I typically cook them in chicken stock. You know, you could, and then when I get low on it, then I start to use the guard. But look at this, noodles. Crazy, it's so simple. Nice job. So that was it. That's all I did there. And it looked really fancy, and it seemed like I was super cool, but really at the end of the day, the only hard part was, you know, getting the water right to do the eggs.
Therapy for that.
Okay. And then pizza. Who loves pizza? Okay?
Oh.
Right? I love pizza.
That don't look like my pizza.
But it will, Patty.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, so this is the thing, right? You just got to consider different mediums for everything. You know, for